overflow area. There is. Like, this is awesome. Is there food in the overflow area? She just had to sign like 100 copies of the book. But sorry.
Oh, no worries. You have to put up with me for a few more minutes. I'm terribly sorry. My name is John. I'm the event coordinator at McNally Robinson Booksellers, and I am very excited about what is going to happen tonight. Not only is this a huge and exceptional event for us, I'm going to ask you to applaud multiple times, so have no fear. Not only is this a huge and exceptional event for us, it is also our first event of the fall, and I cannot think of a better event to start off with. We're so grateful to all of you for your patience and for hanging around and for just filling up the store for this. So I will get off the microphone right away and get to the thing you are actually here for. But before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are, of course, here in Treaty 1 territory, and the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Innuak, Anishinaabe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. In addition, of course, McNally Robinson Booksellers itself rests on the land once occupied by the Métis community of Roostertown. We are, of course, gathered here tonight to celebrate the official launch of Winnipeg-born curling icon Jennifer Jones's new memoir, Rockstar. We're so enormously grateful to HarperCollins Canada for publishing this book, first of all, and of course for helping this evening to happen, really. We were thrilled when they approached us just a few weeks ago and asked if we could be the store that would kick off this book, and of course we excitedly and immediately said yes. Now, I know you're all here for procedural announcements, so just a few quick things I'm going to put in your head. There will be a conversation to my left, and then we'll turn things over to questions from you. When a question occurs to you, just put your hand up and I'll run over to you, and hopefully a non-threatening way with this microphone. It's not because we don't trust you to project your voice. We are live streaming this, so just make sure everybody at home can hear the questions as well. At the end of the event, I'll be back with some exciting details about signing procedures, so please do stand by for that. The only thing I'll put in your head right now is that we'll ask you all to remain in place for just one moment when the event comes to a close, because we need to get Jennifer to the signing table before any signing can actually take place. And I'll have more details on exactly how the signing will go at the end of the event. Now, it's tempting in cases like this to say, here's somebody who needs no introduction, but it's also important as well to go over what's happened in somebody's life that brings them to this place and just give them their flowers before we bring them up here to celebrate them. So Jennifer Jones is a curling icon, widely regarded as the greatest female curler of all time. A two-time Olympian and 2014 Olympic gold medalist, she dominated the sport with 6 national titles, 2 world championships, and an astounding 16 Grand Slam victories. In 2023, she added a Canadian mixed doubles curling championship to her legendary career. Off the ice, Jennifer is a lawyer, corporate leader, and sought-after motivational speaker. As a devoted mother and wife, she continues to inspire with a passion, perseverance, and unwavering commitment to excellence. She's here tonight to talk to host Ace Burpee, a host on 103.1 Virgin Radio in Winnipeg. He's from Cooks Creek, Manitoba. He's here with us today, as is Jennifer Jones. Give her an inappropriately wild welcome, please.
Amazing. Thank you all again so much for being here. Jennifer and I had spoken in the back, and like the book is amazing, everyone. It's really, really good. There's some real insight into who Jennifer is as a person and some of the things. There is like, I know a ton about sports, and I know a ton about curling, and there is stuff in here that I don't think anybody knows and won't have known until you won't know until you read this. It's unreal. So at the beginning here, Jennifer's just going to read a tiny bit. This is near the end of Rockstar, and then we'll get into it.
Looking back on my life, I realized just how much curling has given me. We had many great wins, championship titles, and remarkable shots. And the frustrating losses were important too. But the gift wasn't so much about those things. It was how the sport made me the person I am today. And that really is what the book is about.
Awesome. My first big takeaway from the book is, and I felt very seen, and I think this is, I'm so pleased you not only included it, but you mentioned it several times, is we see Jennifer Jones in full command on the ice, right? But in reality, you are an introvert, and you had to learn a lot about yourself and being in the position you ended up in. And I think it's fascinating. And so take us back to that, like when you were a little shy girl.
Oh boy, yeah, and you know, it's funny because I yell like a crazy person on TV, so people think I'm super outgoing.
Right.
But my comfort was definitely being by myself. And even growing up, I never wanted to have birthday parties for fear that nobody would come. And I had major anxiety nobody would show up today. So thank you. Thank you so much. It's just how I am. And so I curled and I played sports because it was a place where I felt like I belonged. And it's why I encourage our kids to play sports, because you can feel like you're a part of a family, a part of a community. And curling was so perfect for me because I was a sport, you were in a team, but it was only a 4-person team. And then you add skipping to that where I could just go off and be by myself for a few shots, and it was perfect. Like, so I think for me, I curled because I loved curling, and it made me feel for the first time, not that my family was amazing, but when I was outside of my kind of bubble, it was the first time I really felt like I belonged and I was at home. And anytime I walk into a curling club, I get a sense of calm. And I think people can relate to that. It's like going home, you smelling chocolate chip cookies and that sense of feeling like you belong. And you know, you had dear friends, but curling was really what it just gave me a sense of comfort that I never felt. And I didn't do it to be in the public eye. I didn't do it to win championships. I did it because it made me feel good. And then all of a sudden you're in the public eye and everybody wants to know everything about you. And that was so uncomfortable for me.
Sure.
So uncomfortable. They gave me tips on my hairstyles though, and makeup and nails. So that part was good, but like, it was very hard to be in the public eye.
Well, sure. And then, so now putting pen to paper and telling a lot of these stories that literally none of us have ever heard before. How was that as someone who, like, you value your privacy and rightly so, and now you've got to put it all out there?
It was hard. It was really hard. And Dawn's sitting here, and throughout our entire curling career, we always said we need to write a book. Like there were so many things that we needed to write a book about. And I always said I would, but when I was doing it, it was hard to be vulnerable and hard to put myself out there. And I do credit my amazing friends. A lot of them who are here tonight, my family, my teammates, and especially my husband and my daughters, because they made me feel like I'm accepted no matter what. And I never thought I'd say those words. So it was so much easier to be vulnerable and put yourself out there because I like who I am. I think I'm a good person. I'm content with where I am in life. So it was a lot more comfortable for me to just lay it out on paper and have this historic memory for our kids to look back on and know what curling meant to me.
Well, that's the perfect segue into my second takeaway. Like the first big takeaway was like, it opened my eyes. I'm like, oh, she was shy, introverted, and right, like we see you on TV yelling and in total command. But like, I also got a huge sense of, like, there's so much love and appreciation in this book. And everyone, like, from obviously your parents and sister and your husband and children and your amazing teammates, but even like, there's certain camera people that used to work for TSN, and there's just so much love and appreciation for so many different people. And it seems like you've done an incredible job remembering those people. And like, you wouldn't have known at the time, but you'd be like, oh, that person's gonna end up in the book. And I think it's just so sweet.
They're mostly good. Like, it's not like,
oh no, they're all good.
Yeah.
Well, and even the $20 club.
Yeah. Some of them are here tonight. So yeah, there is a lot of gratitude. And actually Cal Lauderdale is here in the crowd somewhere. And I remember the first time I met Cal, and there's a whole chapter actually talking about my experience and the evolution through Cal. But he would, even to this day, like, and he hasn't worked with us for a while, because he always said, he's a sports psychologist, and he always said, it's his job to put himself out of a job. Like, if we always needed him, he's not doing his job, right? So, but he would just send us an email, who loves to curl? And it would always hit home and resonate with me, because we love to curl and how grateful we are. And people would say, isn't it annoying to sign autographs? I mean, I shouldn't say that in this room tonight, but no, it's not. Like, who in their life gets to sign autographs? Who wants autographs? If I ask my daughters, they say, well, we do, because fans would like their autograph too. So they think it's normal, but it's not really that normal. And so I've never lost that feeling of appreciation for the impact that we've had on other people's lives. Like, it's very humbling, and I'm super grateful, and I got to do what I love to do, and curling gave back to me more than I ever gave to it. And so I still feel like I have so much to give.
So you say the word humbling, and I'm like, I can read people and I think I understand people, and I knew you were going to be wrestling with, and we just talked about this, everyone in the back room, that you were going to have to wrestle with and come to terms with the title of the book.
Yeah, it wasn't my idea, the title of the book. I would never call myself a rock star. Like, it just seems so, like, I don't know, arrogant in a way, and I'm just not that person. But I you know, and then we talked about it, and we showed it to a few people, and everybody loved it. And then I realized it's just more of a play on words. Like, we were, you know, it was rocks on the ice, and we did what we love to do, and we became in the public eye because of what we did on the ice. So now I love it. I think it's good. I hope you guys like it, but I
think it had to be rocks.
Yeah, it did take me a long time to come to terms with it. The publisher kept emailing, are we okay to go yet? I'm like, not yet. Are we okay to go yet? Not yet.
You know what else I loved is, and you mentioned this a few times, but you were saying at the beginning when you like felt like you belonged at the curling rink and things like that. And a lot of you in this room will get this, and it'll be cool that also the Jennifer Jones thinks the same or has the same feeling as you, but like literally the smell of the rink and the smell of the ice, and it just takes you to that happy place of being a kid in St. Patel.
Yeah, and I curled at the St. Patel Curling Club, which if anybody's been there, it's just, yeah, way back there, got some St. Patelers, yeah. And it's got like the cedar shed, so it smells like cedar. Sometimes mothballs in the fall, but I think it is the best smelling place I've ever been, because it reminds me of my childhood when anything was possible. And I always say, our daughter played hockey, and I'd go into a hockey rink, and I think it's the most vile smell I've ever smelled. And I'm sure there's a lot of young boys and girls who go back to the hockey rink and they feel like they're back in their childhood when they believed anything was possible and they felt like they belonged. And that's what the curling club does to me, and especially St. Patel, because it has a very unique smell. But it's just going back, and I said baking chocolate chip cookies, like all of those memories that just bring back such fond moments in my life, and I've never ever lost the smell of the ice. I always thought I'd retire when the ice didn't smell so good anymore.
That's awesome.
But it still smells as good as it did years ago. So I had to retire when I still loved it. And I think I always thought I'd know when I was going to retire, because I wouldn't want to curl anymore, and it just wasn't fun. But that never happened to me. And in some ways I wanted it to happen so I knew I could retire, but now I'm super grateful that every second I got to spend on this curling ice was something with pure joy and enjoyment and love, and I left on my terms, and I'm happy with that.
That's interesting, actually, because there are a ton of professional and super high level athletes, like people I know that have had incredible like NHL careers, and they're my age now, they're like 50 or whatever, like they don't even have hockey equipment. Like they wanted it gone from their life entirely. I find that interesting. And you're like, your love of curling, everyone, it shines through like literally right to the end of the book. It's so awesome. Like, it's so pure.
Yeah, and I do, and everybody will say, they're gonna curl on Friday Night Mixed. Unfortunately, no, sorry. I'll come and spare once in a while, I'll never know, but like, for me, I spent so much of my life curling, and I still love it, and I want to be involved in the game, and I'm going to broadcast and maybe coach and do those things. But as Dawn would say, we're not curling seniors. I'm going to be on a beach in Mexico, right? Yeah. So because we spent so much of our time in the winter on the curling ice that I want to do other things. Life has so many things to offer. And I want to do all of those things. So I don't think I'll curl regularly. Brent and I are still playing mixed doubles. They snagged us in again this year, but I'm not sure after that.
I was super intrigued by, and this is why I sort of ran that past you loosely in the back room over there, because I wanted to make sure I was correct. But like, so your parents, who you love dearly, and they've been so amazing. But I said, would you say that your dad, in terms of curling and technique and things, was way ahead of his time? And you're like, absolutely. So tell us a bit about that. I found that so cool.
So when my dad taught me to curl, he had this thought on the delivery and where the rock should be positioned and all of these things. And it's technical, but it was different from what everybody else was thinking. It was actually right at the beginning of the no lift delivery. He had really kind of unique thoughts on how it should happen. And that's how he taught me to curl. And that's how I did it. And I'd go to these camps and these, Curling Canada camps and Curl Manitoba camps, and they try to get me to change, move my rock. They didn't like the way it was. And I just didn't. I believed in my dad and it felt comfortable, and I made a few shots. So I just kept it the way I wanted to, or I felt comfortable. And now to this day, that's exactly what Dave Murdoch is bringing into the Curling Canada program, is the way that my dad taught it 25, maybe 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Like an innovator, he wasn't trying to innovate. He just like, this is what we're gonna do and it's gonna work. And you're like, yeah, it does.
It does. And you know what? He was just he just loved curling, and he loved his girls, and he wanted me to be good at it. So he spent a lot of time thinking about it. And he said, this makes the most sense. And it took people 30 years to catch up. So,
that's cool. Very cool. Do you still have the slippers?
I do.
No, you don't.
I sure do.
Do you want to tell them about the slippers? It's so neat. Right?
Well, so the Scotties, years gone by, used to feel like a rock star, literally, when you would go and you would show up in your room and there'd be all of these amazing things in your room, this gift basket. I'll never forget going to my first Scotties in Brandon. And you'd show up, and actually my dear friend Nicole sent me flowers every Scotties. So we'd walk in a room, and she's sitting right here with these beautiful flowers and a gift basket, and then you'd receive a local gift. So in Brandon, my first Scotties, they gave us these moccasin slippers that had the beads in the shape of the Scotties hearts. I'm like, hello. Like, I had dreamed of doing this my whole life, and I see these slippers, and I'm like, okay, this is like my dream come true, the best gift ever. And so I only ever wear those slippers at the Scotties. I didn't realize I'd be to so many, so they were a little bit worn out, but I've never worn them outside the Scotties because I wanted them to last the length of time, and they're still kicking. They're still going strong, just lost a little fur along the back, but they're good. Awesome. Right, John? Yeah. Oh, I brought them to the Olympic trials too. Olympic trials and Scotties. They were lucky.
After, no, it was actually, it was right after. I remember seeing the four of you in person right after you had presented an award at the Junos, okay? And I
do you remember who we had to give the award to?
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, and everybody booed.
I know.
It was when he was arrested, and like, so we're in Winnipeg. I didn't mean to interrupt you, I'm so sorry. But we're in Winnipeg, we're all dressed up, we're so excited, it's for the Junos. I can't remember what he got arrested for, but he did something really bad and people weren't liking Bieber at the time. So I announced his name and they're like, boo, and I'm like, we love you, Winnipeg! And then they all cheered, and it was great.
He's a good kid.
But he didn't show up. He didn't show up.
He used to live in St. Patel for a while.
I liked him. He didn't show up though because he wasn't really popular.
No, it was a tough time.
Anyway, you were gonna ask a question and I sidetracked you.
Well, no, I remember after you had presented the award, I told your team this story. And so the story I told them after because I was underneath like doing a backstage thing at the Junos. And I told you this story, and I'll tell all of you this story, but then where it goes it's so fascinating. So in Sochi, I'm watching, it was either your first or second game, okay? With my dad. So it's just me and my dad out there in Cooks Creek, Manitoba. And I'm watching y'all curl. And I go, hey, Dad, you wanna hear something interesting? He's like, sure. I said, they're not gonna lose.
Oh,
And he's like, how do you know? I said, I can read people. I said, they're not gonna lose a single game. Like you could, it was one of the most amazing sports performances, not just in Canadian history, but in Olympic history. Like it really was an absolute clinic. So all that said, and like I meant it, I'm like, there's no way they're going to lose a single game. But what I didn't know until I read this book is like leading up to that, your life was wild.
it was wild, yep.
Like
Had its
I didn't
moments.
know any of this stuff.
We can't give it away though.
It involves several different medical things. It involves having to hide at the Winnipeg airport. Like it is, everyone, it is amazing. It really is. If you had just written one chapter and it was that one, I would have been like, she's the greatest athlete of all time. It is so good. It's so good. And so how, okay, so you don't have to say what all the things are because they're massive, everyone. But how did you have to, like, you had to keep massive things a huge secret?
I did, yeah. I actually wore a little bit of disguise sometimes when I would go out.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. I
Like
wore
what?
hooded glasses, like a hoodie and
Did
glasses.
you really?
Yeah, and then I moved, like, so I just didn't want our competition to know everything that was going on, so we were trying to keep it on the DL, right? Yeah. And so and then I went and stayed, Brent was in Ontario, so I went and visited him often and did a lot of my medical stuff there, because it was just, I could be a little bit more
under the radar?
Yeah. And so, and people would recognize me there, but it wasn't like a newspaper article wasn't gonna be written, but the problem was when you go to the Winnipeg airport, the newspaper people, the media people are often there. Like they fly with the bombers, they fly with the jets, like they're everywhere. You can't escape them.
No.
So when you go to the airport, like I would get there, my dad used to drive me to the airport and he'd say you'd have to be Mario Andretti because I'm gonna get a ticket. I'm like, no, because I would show up with like 90 seconds to spare because I didn't want anybody to see me there. And I just go in, hide myself, and sit down on my plane. I put my hood up and look down so nobody would see me as they were boarding the plane.
That's wild. I'm telling you, when you get to this section, you will, like, let's say you already have a massive appreciation for what Jennifer Jones has accomplished. When you find out what she had to go through in advance of the Olympics, people wouldn't do it. The average person would not do it. You know what else I love is, and I don't think your team gets enough credit for this, but like that core, the four of you, that was 12 years.
Yep.
12 years, everyone. Like that is traveling together. That is not winning together, great, but you have to lose together as well. Like that is a lot. Like, and just the admiration. Each girl gets their own section, and like it is just the best.
Yeah, and we, rooming together, having babies, illnesses, the support, and it was just such an amazing team. And Jill's actually in Australia, which is why she's not here tonight. She sent me a little note, which was nice. And Caitlin's training; she's still competing because she's young. It was
younger.
It was quite handy actually, because I roomed with Caitlin, so she taught me how to like use my phone and stuff, and like. And make sure that I was not old. So anyway, we were very, like, it was just a really good core group. And everybody always says that we made a lot of team changes and had many teams over the years. Like I played with Jill for over 20 years and we played, like, this core group was together for 12, and there was, a couple of changes throughout that, but in the grand scheme of things in sport, like we had such a longevity. It's not really heard of in curling.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. In the final chapter of the book, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, it was quite emotional, but in a good way. And you use the term unburdened heart.
Yep, I stole that from Cal.
And so
Cal says that all the time, yeah.
That's the feeling you have when you walk around every day now, and I just love it, and I wish that for everyone.
You know, and I think having kids really gave me perspective on that. You think, okay, what do I want for our kids? Like, what do I want for them? I want them to dream big and chase their dreams and really feel like anything is possible. But I also want them to go through life feeling joy and not weighed down and heavy. And that's what Cal meant with an unburdened heart. Going in there, not feeling guilty, not feeling like heavy, not feeling the pressure, doing what you love to do. And so that transcended curling for me. It's just a way to live life with an unburdened heart and just grateful for every moment and every opportunity you get. And Brent makes fun of me because if anybody asks me to do something fun, I always say yes, even if it makes absolutely no sense. Like I will fly somewhere for 13 minutes if it means that I'm going to experience something great. And like I never say no. We would come to Winnipeg for Christmas when we were living in Ontario, and we would literally see 12 people that day because I didn't want to miss out on anything. But it's that unburdened heart, living life to the fullest. And I think it really helped us in curling and just in life in general.
The best. Something else that for sure helped in curling, but is something that, like for sure, I need to get way, way better at this, but like staying in the moment. Like there's so many times, like you can be in a meeting at work and like it's an important meeting and you're literally thinking of 19 other things you have to do or all these things. Like you almost create the problems in your head. Like when I'm playing hockey, I'm thinking of what I'm supposed to be doing after hockey. You know what I mean? Like I can't even stay in the moment for a 1 hour game, but like staying in the moment, it's an amazing, amazing skill. And so when we see you on TV and the camera zoomed in and it's down to the last shot, you are literally just present in that moment and what's in front of you at that time. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah, and a lot goes back to what Cal would say, like have a clear mind and an unburdened heart. Like how can you really be present and enjoy the moment if you're thinking about 8,000 other things? And again, when I became a mom and or even when I had a job and I was curling, I had made a vow to my employer that I'll never miss a deadline. And so when I was working, they would get 100% of me. But when I was curling, my curling team would get 100% of me till the moment the game was done. And then I might go on a conference call, world championship or not, like I would figure it out. And then you have kids. And again, everybody says, how do you have work-life balance or how do you balance? And it's like, well, just be in the moment. And so when I was with them, they would get 100% of me. But then when I went curling, I didn't feel guilty because they got 100% of me. And now I was doing what I needed to do and I tried to be fully present. And I owed that to myself, but I also felt like I owed it to my teammates to really be, devoted and into the game and not just going through the motions. Because then if I was just going through the motions, my thought was, why bother? Right? Because you're not going to even remember it. It's just going to, you go and do something and maybe you can know this and you've just finished something, but you can't remember anything you did.
100%.
And so it's like, well, if I'm going to go curl, I don't even remember any of it anyway. Why bother? Like I might as well just be at home. So I really took that attitude with life and I try to be really present. And social media, I remember Twitter came in during the Olympics and Jill had Twitter and I make fun of her because I was like, what is this? And now it's everywhere. But like the social media and the phones, it just requires you to constantly be on. And so we try to, like, when we're with our kids, put the phones away and try to be present.
Something else I found interesting, that's actually a neat little segue because social media is like new school, right? Work ethic is something that is sort of debated and between generations, and this generation will accuse this generation of suspect work ethic and things like this. Your work ethic is wild. Like when you were, she's trying to be a lawyer, she's trying to curl, but then like in the summer you'd work like 3 different jobs and like just relentless work ethic, okay? But what I find interesting is, and this is it has to be a lesson for us, is no one was telling you to do it, right? Like there were no parents forcing you to do this or pushing you into that or pushing you into something you didn't want to do. It was all by choice. I find that so interesting.
Yeah, it was more me, like on Saturday mornings, I would be like, Dad, we're going tomorrow, you'd have to go at 8 AM and he'd come with me, my sister would stay in bed, so that was, you know. So she made provincials though, so well done, but you know, it was just a different, sorry, it's just a different, actually, I credit her, I'll get back to that, to the undefeated run, because she was very superstitious. And CBC wanted to come and film her during our final as they did for the Olympics. I'm telling one story from the book. And my sister was like, well, no. And I'm like, well, why? Because it's on at 7 in the morning. The games were on during different times. And she would wear her pajamas in her bed. And that was her lucky spot. So she's like, you're not coming in here. And she was not willing to break her superstition.
I like it.
Yeah, right? But no, it was just about, I never want to have regret. And I always feel like the things that we can control our attitude. You know, they always say that, your parents say you can control your attitude, you can control your outlook, but you can control how much effort you put into things and your work ethic and how hard you work and never to be outworked by anybody else. That's totally within your control. And that was my philosophy. If I work as hard as I possibly can, and I do the best I possibly can, then I'll never regret it, and I'll never feel like, I'll never second guess myself, and I never did. And I did what I was loving to do, so it never felt like a sacrifice. And I see a lot of my aunts and uncles are in the room. I missed a lot of Christmas dinner and functions with them, but that was a sacrifice that I made. And there wasn't a problem that I didn't think we could tackle.
Yeah.
And especially if we did it together. And I think the whole team worked very hard. We always worked hard. Dawn was like, would not come off the ice until she threw like, I don't know how many perfect draws in a row. And you knew she wouldn't come. Like if she was having a bad practice, she might be out there for 10 hours. But that's why she was the best at her position.
That's unreal. I love learning all this stuff. So
having said that, I would never leave her out there by herself.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't. So I would be out there holding the broom, giving her feedback. I never ever would say, okay, I'm done, I'm freezing, I'm leaving. It's like, no, if she's doing this, then I'm doing it with her. And same with the rest of my team. If I needed them to do something for me so I would feel good, we would do it for each other.
That is team.
Yeah.
That is team. This is awesome. Everyone, there are so many of you here, and so we should try and get to as many of your questions as possible. If you are a shy person, if you want to relay it to us, we can read it out for you. Don't stress. We're all on the same team here. There's no right or wrong there. And plus, this might be your moment, right? Like to ask Jennifer Jones a question at her book signing, which is kind of a big deal. So show of hands, we'll start with you back there. Oh, I'll make you run. Is that okay?
Right at the back under the nonfiction.
Yeah. This is a lot of people.
I know. See, and I was all nervous today. I'm like, Mom, make sure you tell your friends.
It means you care. It means you care.
Right?
Right?
I did. I told everybody.
Okay, well, thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom's friends.
Simple question. Easiest, hardest skip to play, domestic, international?
Easiest, hardest skip to play.
Domestic, international.
Ooh, yeah.
Domestic and international. That's a good
He
question.
says that's easy. That's not easy. Easiest skip would be international. We'll start with international. Fujisawa, just because they're just so awesome. Like they're so kind. They want the best. They want you to be your best so they can beat you at the best. And I think so they're just so much fun to play against. Hardest would be Alina Pats because she's so freaking good and very annoying. I still see her out-turn draw coming down the ice. I thought she missed it and it just rubbed off and it beat us. But she's actually one of my favorite people. So hardest to play against because she's so good and you know you're gonna have to be so good to beat her. But just a great competitor, and it's hard not to cheer for her because she works so hard and I have so much respect for her. I didn't cheer for her when we were playing, but and now domestic, easiest, oh boy, or hardest. Hardest would like Rachel Holman right now, like they're so good. And she just makes everything, and she actually, she makes different shots from other women. So you have to skip differently against Rachel. Like you know, you might leave her a different shot than you'd leave somebody else. So it just changes your mindset because she'll make that, you know, big in off or the big run back. And whereas when you're playing other women's teams, you might leave them that shot because the chance of making it are less. But with Rachel, she makes them all the time. So I think it's hardest because she makes so many shots, but also because you have to call a little bit of a different game. Easiest, none of them. Dawn, help me. Easiest. Like they're so hard, but who do we have the most fun playing against? So many people. Dawn's like looking at me.
I mean, it was well answered overall.
Yeah, like I easiest, yeah, just, I mean, everybody, I loved playing against everybody, but that's just a cop-out answer. So I don't know. Anybody who would like to mix it up, I had the most fun playing. Heather Nedowan liked to mix it up, so I loved playing against her. Anybody who'd have rocks and play, we always said, and I don't know if everybody was on my page there, but our team would always say, I'd rather lose playing the way we wanted and making it an interesting game for the fans and than just throwing them up and down and trying to keep the game close and hoping for a mistake.
I think people did notice. Yeah, people did notice.
So we decided that I'd rather lose and not be successful than play the game that way. And because it wasn't fun, and I think one of our responsibilities as athletes was to help grow the game, and you're never gonna grow the game if it's boring.
Well, we loved it, right?
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, no,
Like, yeah, we were always kept you on the edge of your seats.
Yeah, drama. Great question, by the way.
Yeah.
Who would like to go next? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Jennifer, before you could go to Sochi and win the Olympics, of course, you had to win the Roar of the Rings here. I had the pleasure of being there for all the games. I want to go back to a cold, windy, blustery, snowy Wednesday evening, 6:30, sheet A against arch enemy #1. Jennifer, by winning that game, you ended up becoming the #1 seed. You got a bye to the final, and given what happened in the semifinal, it made your life very simple in the final. I want you to go back to N10. You did not have the hammer. In my humble opinion, it was the best shot and the most important shot of your life. Would you please set the scene and go over it for us? Thank you.
Give it up for that
Present, so I remember.
guy. Man, that was well done.
Yeah. He's talking about a game against Rachel Homan, correct? Yeah. And we didn't have the hammer and had to steal. We made a perfect freeze on my last one, an absolute perfect freeze. And she missed and we won. And but it was always about, do you remember that shot? Yeah. I can't remember, did you have to sweep it last? Yeah.
Ask him, he'll know. Were there lots of sweeping?
She says on off, so I think it was kind of but I think it was just this great team moment, this great team shot. I remember being very excited when it landed, thinking like, okay, all you ever want to do is make somebody make a hard one to win. You want to make them make their last shot and make it as hard as you possibly can. Well, in that moment we did. We made it as hard as we could. We knew how important that game was. We never felt we were going to lose a game until it was over. And my motto was just put everything on the ice, leave it all out there, no regrets, never have any regrets. And so, you know, and never be scared to miss. So we made it perfect, and actually Rachel wasn't that, like, we knew she had missed fairly early on, so that made that kind of less stressful. But and then we knew that we were going to get the bye to the final, and you assume you're going to play Rachel Homan in the final, and we didn't. We played Sharon Madaw, and yeah, and the rest is history.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Who would like to go next? Yes. We will
Thank you all for coming
Weasel
again. Like, you
our
have
way
no
in
idea
there.
how much this means to me.
yeah. Right? Isn't it cool?
It's so cool. Yeah.
I'm just curious, how did you write this so quickly? Did you just retire and write, or were you making journal, like keeping a journal?
That's a
for years?
good question. Why are they laughing?
Because my friend Nicole knows, yeah.
Very good question. Someone knows something up here.
No, well, she knows because she was experiencing it with me. But so no journals along the way. I did pick Jill's brain. Jill and I have very good memories, and same with Dawn, but Jill's like remembers like a lot of things. So I picked everybody's brain. But when I retired, it just seemed like a really good therapeutic thing to do. And in the publishing world, it was good to do it right now, leading up to Christmas and before the Olympics. It's just when curling is at its most popular, so it just makes business sense. So that, and it takes about, who knew, from the time you finish to the time it's in the bookstore, it takes 9 to 12 months. So like,
Is it really?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I know. Well, look at how pretty it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes work.
Sure.
Yeah. So it takes, you know, a little bit of time to do all of those things. So I really only had not very long, okay? And so I had to finish it by the end of last summer, or by actually, yeah, by August. And so my dear friend Nicole took me on a holiday for my birthday. We had planned it forever, and I had not finished my book. So the book was completed in Mexico on a palapa with maybe a couple drinks.
That is awesome.
And we talked about it the whole time we were there. That was our big birthday vacation, was my book, but I wouldn't have done it with anybody else. So yeah, so.
Nicole. Nicole's gonna write a book about the writing of the book.
When I picked her brain and just a couple of things she was getting mad at, she's like, no, you gotta say it. And it was like awesome, because it was just this great writing kind of thing going on, so.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, these are great questions, by the way. Who would like to go next? Yes.
And Mexico is very hot in August. But when you curl again, this is my problem, is that I could never go on a holiday.
Right.
So we had to go in August, but we didn't care. Sorry.
Good evening, Jennifer.
Good evening.
Throughout your book, you share both vulnerable moments and empowering breakthroughs. What was the turning point that most significantly shifted your perspective on mental health, and how has that influenced the way that you care for yourself today?
Nice job. Great question.
Awesome question. And I think it's just been an evolution, to be honest. And I think it's an ongoing evolution. I was always of just this hardworking, nothing's gonna stop me, I will figure out anything kind of attitude. And I think it was, you know, some media issues, and really, that really got me in a deep, dark place. And then all of a sudden being surrounded with people who cared about me and who made me realize the person I was and to trust the person I was. And so you just realize, I think for me, that was a real pivotal point, because if you surround yourself with great people who believe in you, who support you, who lift you up, then you can conquer anything. But when you try to believe everything and try to be everything for everybody, you're never gonna succeed, and it's just gonna bring this so much pressure on you. So that was a real pivotal moment for me, and my friends, and being supported by the people that I love really got me through that. And I think having my kids and realizing that, you know, they love me no matter what, and it didn't matter what happened on or off the ice, they were proud of me, and I was finally proud of myself, and I was okay in my own skin and okay in who I was. And the media will say I became more open. Well, I think I just became more vulnerable, and I was just more willing to share and expose myself, we can say, because I knew I liked who I was, and it didn't matter what anybody else said, because I had a great support network around me.
Awesome. Excellent question, sir. Well done. These are so good. We got time for a couple more? Yeah? All right. Right over here. Yes. These are great, everyone.
Hello. Jennifer, first of all, I want to tell you I'm Mona Forsyth from Snow Lake.
Hi.
And this is the second time that I'm seeing you in person, because as a teenager in high school, you came up to Snow Lake and played off, didn't you?
I did. I remember
And
it.
we all knew that there was a Jennifer from Winnipeg that we had to go and see. I was working uptown and everybody was coming in. Are you going to? Yes, I'll be at the rink. I'll be there. I'm not gonna miss her, you know. But you inspired a lot of young people that year that you were there as a teenager.
That means a lot. Thank you.
You were just how you are today. Wonderful, friendly, everything so nice. So I live in Winnipeg now, in a home, Sturgeon Creek 1 is where I am. And so we have a little monthly newsletter thing. So I'm representing the Snow Lake Curling Club, but I'm also here for Sturgeon Creek 1. And I'm going to get a picture of you with me, and we're
You got it.
Sign on that.
I wanna be in that newsletter so bad, yeah. I'm your girl, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for sharing that story. You
So
don't,
happy to be here.
Thank you.
know, Thank you, dear.
Does it, I don't know. Like, do you, let's say later tonight, okay, when everything's done. Like, does it sink in? Cause that genuinely, like, that means a lot. All those little things, like they mean the work, even so, for a lot of people, literally just being in your presence tonight, no, seriously, like it's amazing that you get to touch so many people in so many different ways. And so like, at the end of the night tonight, will you like be able to take a breath and like, let that sink in?
I always try to, and I've never lost that, like those stories, and you realize, and again, like over time, I realized I want our daughters to go and meet people that inspire them. So you have this obligation to put yourself out there and the stories. And I think that was when I was retiring. I played my last year because COVID and all of that, and I wanted to say goodbye to curling. It had nothing to do with anything other than I just really needed to say goodbye. But it was more like what impacted me the most was hearing the stories from the fans.
Sure.
And like where they were when we won the Olympics, or this young girl who's from a foster home shared with me that I had written Dream Big on an autograph card when she was with one of her foster families. And she got moved around. So that foster family girl got moved to a different foster family and they didn't curl. So she didn't do any curling anymore, but she still kept this picture. And she said to me, and she's kind of got a little teary, and she showed it to me. She says, "Do you remember me?" And it had been like a decade. And she's grown up now. And I said, "I don't remember, but I can't believe you still have that." And she said, "Well, you're the only one who ever told me to dream." And so now she has me crying. And she said, "And I want to tell you, I kept it on my desk. I believed in myself, and I just graduated from medical school."
No way.
Yeah, and she thanked me. So, I signed a picture, but for her, it changed her life. And you think those are the moments you have to remember. And I'm very grateful for that. And I've never lost, I curled because I loved it. I didn't curl to be in the public eye. I didn't think I'd ever make an impact. And the fact that we made the smallest impact in the game that we loved or into people's lives it's just so humbling.
Very cool. I also forgot, I was gonna share good news with you.
Oh.
That baggy pants are back.
With pleats?
So do you wanna, I know that has bothered you for a long
Oh
time,
my
the
God,
baggy pants.
that video is shown over and over and over again. And they made us wear those pants. And they're so high, like women back then didn't need a bra. Like the pants would support it, I'm telling you. Unbelievable. And the polyester burn, ladies, I don't know how you survived that era because that burn was real. Like my mom would wear pantyhose curling. I'm like, "Why are you wearing pantyhose?" And then I put those pants on and I knew.
Just for self-preservation.
Yeah. So you burn, you'd have a burn. And they made us tuck in our shirt. It's terrible. Anyway, but they are bad. Hopefully they're lower waisted.
All right, there was a hand I missed. Where was it? Oh, it's just around to your right. Yes. Hang a hard right there. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, when you write a book and you finally figure that you're done and you close it, is there anything that you read it now and you go, "Oh, I wish I had said this," or "I wish I would have told this story"?
Another good question.
And now that you have us all here and we get the special privilege of maybe hearing a story that you didn't quite put in your book. I was wondering if you had one.
So I know Michelle. So Michelle, very good volleyball player from Manitoba, Michelle Squatsky.
And pianist.
Yes. That was one of the first books I read was Cal worked with her. So we go way, way back. I don't want to say how many years, but you do you write it and then you think of another story Jill's elephant memory came up with another story and I forgot about it. But I can't share them because I'm going to write another. Well, maybe, you never know, right? But I think it's just more the crazy stories of like some of them. I remember being in Korea. I don't even know if I put this in the book actually, but so Curling Canada, they just started sending massage therapists and stuff with the teens. So we used to not have it, and you just have to get whomever would, and it sounds like not really a big deal. But when you go to Korea and you have a problem and you're going to get treatment and they don't speak the language, and you're in the basement in this massage place, and they all of a sudden start standing on your back and stretching you in ways that you didn't think were possible, you question why they might not send somebody.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. And they're
That's not the best.
no. And then Dawn and I went for a massage. This is gonna get a little dirty, but we went for a massage together once, and all of a sudden they're like, get naked. I'm like, but we're together. They're like, take off clothes. No. And then we're done our massage. They want us to have a shower together. No.
There's a new edition. It's called Jen Jones After Dark coming up. Yeah. And the book launch is actually, it starts at 11 p.m. It's gonna be wild.
But I mean, you know what though, having said that, would I change those memories? No, because they added to the story, right? And so many great stories, so many great, like, just travel stories, but we always just had a great attitude. And Jill and I wish I put more about Jill and I would travel all the time when we went to Europe. Her and I would go early. We both love to travel. Dawn didn't really love traveling as much, and she had a job, and Kathy had kids at the time, and I totally get it now. But Jill and I would travel all the time, and those stories, like I remember she really wanted to go to Belgium. I was like, really? What are we gonna do in Belgium? We're gonna make chocolate. I'm like, okay. So we take like 18,000 buses to go see this chocolatier, and it was one of the best experiences ever.
Awesome.
See, Jill's brilliant.
Yeah.
So like some of those, and the food in Belgium was great, and just some of those stories are kind of what I remember the most. Or meeting Sandra Schmirler's team in Switzerland, and she had this gold curling rock, and I lusted after this gold curling rock, okay? And it was really expensive. So I'd saved a bunch of money, and I'd never been to Europe, and we go to Switzerland. We had won the juniors. They had won the ladies at the same time. And because she got it in Switzerland, so I'm gonna buy myself one. She was like, oh, it's in Tune. Like, and we were in Bern. So I had to take a train and then find the shop. And I don't speak the language, but nothing's gonna stop me. So off I go, took the wrong train, went the wrong direction, had a couple of mishaps along the way, couldn't find the store, eventually found the store, spent every last penny I had for this freaking curling rock, and to this day I can't find it.
No.
MIA.
Lesson learned.
Tragic, yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway, yeah, there's lots of stories along the way, but this book is really about my journey and my evolution as a person, as a curler, as a leader, and just some of the behind the scenes stuff.
These are so great. Do we have time for another one?
There was
Sorry, the mic just ran out.
Okay, that's okay.
I will just point out this is our final question, and we'll throw back.
Final question, okay. Oh, he's actually putting new batteries.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been good though.
Right.
Hey,
Always.
you're very easy to talk to.
We go way back.
It's awesome.
Thanks, Jennifer. This is a great evening. I'm asking you not to think as a corporate lawyer and you focus on your career, how the game has changed, how your dad influenced you, and how to deliver the rock. What changes would you like to see possibly when you're sitting in one of those chairs at Curl Canada or World Curling?
Nice.
With regards to the game, the rules, the politics, the sponsorships, anything.
Oh my goodness, like
Mandatory.
the questions are hard. Like usually it's like,
I
what's
know,
your
they're
favorite
so
color?
good.
Like,
Yeah. What? Do you like curling? Yes. Great.
There's a few things. I'd like to do away with blank ends. Or limit them. I like offense. I would like to do away with the tick shot, especially in mixed doubles. The corner chip in is ruining the mixed doubles power play. So I'd like to do away with that. I'd love, I'd love for curlers to be able to do it full time. A lot of us still have jobs, and you can't support yourself in curl. So I'm hoping that, and it seems like it's on the way to be where you can, in Canada, hopefully make enough money to be a curler, because our daughter wants to be a curler, and right now I'm discouraging her because I'm like, I don't want to support you for the rest of your life. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, like, she really wants to be a curler, so I'm really invested in the growth of the game, and I love how much it's on TV. I want to make it a faster game, less thinking, really quick. You know how baseball's gone to that pitch clock.
Pitch clock, yeah.
I'm a big baseball fan, and I really like the changes. So we're trying to come up with ways in curling to try to speed up the game a little bit, but still not lose that conversation, what makes us special, like trying to get in our, so it's just that balance, but definitely more offense. Offense is fun.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to watch hitting?
Is there a, wait.
Too many what? To an extent, yeah, exactly.
To an
Like,
extent.
it doesn't have to be like crazy, and you still want to see those run backs, and sometimes it's gonna happen, but there's so much scoreboard management, as they say, so people don't want to score in the odd end, so you know an odd end's gonna be boring. Like, guaranteed, you guys, you know, if it's a fairly early in the game, if you need to go to the bathroom, go in an odd end, like, you're not gonna miss a whole lot. You know, it's just the way it works nowadays, whereas we just kind of went with our gut, with our feeling, and didn't look at the analytics as much. I think I don't want to lose that love of the game.
Awesome. Your questions were amazing, everyone. And so now you get a chance to have a book signed by Jennifer Jones. I'll turn things over to you, but you have all been amazing. And even just the fact that you showed up is so awesome and so appreciated. So thank you all very, very much. That was amazing.
And before, I just want to say thank you personally for everybody who's come, everybody who's bought a book. It's very vulnerable to see your face on a book in the bookstore. But I just want to thank you, but more important, thank you for supporting us over the years. I know Dawn and I and Jill and Caitlin and all of us along the way, we had these dreams of doing certain things, but it's because of each and every one of you that our dreams were blown away. You made us feel special, you cheered for us, you supported us, and thank you never seems good enough, but thank you, truly thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you, Ace. Thank all of you for all of your questions, for your attention. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to ask you all to remain in one place for one moment while my colleague Angela sweeps Jennifer over to the signing table.
Look at you.
Come on. That was really good.
She's forced me to make that for her. And then I'll just go over signing procedure while she's making her way, and I will ask you to raucously cheer for her one more time after the signing announcement. She'll be able to hear you. So in just a moment, we'll ask you all to make your way over to the signing table, which is just beside the cash desk. Please do feel free to get a book signed before you pay for it at the cash desk. Just please do remember to pay for the book before you physically leave the store.
Good point.
My colleagues and I will be wandering down the line to write your name on Post-it notes, which again is not because we don't trust you to spell. It just means you can spend more time talking when you get to the table than spelling. She'll be free to sign pretty much anything. And we'll also write down any personalizations you might have. She's also free for pictures, but because there are so many people here, we'll ask that you just bend down in front of the table. That just ensures that everybody can get their moment and get their picture before they leave. And one of my colleagues will be right across from the table to help with those photos as well. I should point out that if you can't stay for the signing, Jennifer did very kindly pre-sign some additional books. Those are available just at the cash desk as well. So please do feel free to ask for those as well. And I believe that is officially it. Huge thanks to all of you for coming out tonight. Thank you to HarperCollins. Applaud twice, once for Ace Burpee.
Thank you.
And applause to Jennifer Jones. Have a wonderful night.